am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. Arms unfold the dough, malnutrition dulls my hair. My eyes are black and lifeless with an unprivileged stare. I'm the beggar on the corner, will no one spare a dime? I'm the child that never learned to read, cause no one spared the time. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. Murderer, the victim, I'm a license to a gun. I'm a sad, bruised old lady in an alley or in a slum. I'm a middle-aged businessman with chronic heart disease. I'm another teenage suicide in a street that has no trees. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. Starving third world mother, refugee without a home. I'm a housewife hooked on Valium, a pensioner alone. I'm a cancer-ridden specter, discovering the earth. I'm another hungry baby, I'm an accident at birth. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care. I am a 1 in 10, a number on a list. I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist. Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care.
Where's the end?
I am a 1 in 10, a number on a
Maybe no, maybe no.
I am a 1 in 10, even though I don't exist.
I don't exist.
Nobody knows me, but I'm always there. Statistical reminder of a world that doesn't care.
That's the end. Jimmy, can't even aim a mouse tonight. Holy fuck. Holy shit. Yeah, I clicked it and then unclicked it and I had to click it again. Holy crap, Jim. Get a fucking grip, lad. Get a grip. How is all? Happy Saturdays all. Happy Saturday, everyone. Well, look, you know, it's about as happy as things are going to fucking get around here. So I'm not going to bring too much fucking doom and gloom tonight. Let's have none of that shit, man, because there's plenty of it going around. I think we've had quite enough of that now, to be honest. So, hi, everyone. I'll say hello. Spanish was first in, I see. Good man, good man. Nice to see that, Spanish. Well, we need it. Do we need it? We don't even have a prize for the first in. You know, I don't know. We'll have to do something about that. How you doing, Regina? And Mahat, how you doing, mate? Got your email. Still didn't get back. I've just been too busy, mate. Too fucking busy. But got your email, and I'll get back to you. Who else have we got in there? Black Dahlia's in the house. How you doing, Black Dahlia? And Mascara. How you doing, Mascara? And we got Robert as well. How you, Robert? And Timothy McPherson is in the house. So our resident Nazi is here. Great, you know. So we've got a full house. That's great, you know. So anyway, how was your week, everyone? as for me, it's been a weird one. Been a weird one. It's been kind of productive, but not productive. Like us, weather is atrocious. Hope you didn't get too hammered with that storm that come charging through there a couple of days ago. But I don't think it was too bad. Like it's not nothing like we're not used to really. To be honest, like especially if you live around the coastlines of the Emerald Isles and and Britain, like and up coast of Wales, like well used to getting pretty harsh, windy conditions, So, um, not a great place to live if on the coast now. If you're in a caravan or somewhere like that, I think there was some poor lassie. She was living in her caravan somewhere up in Sligo, up in the Sligo Mountains, a few years back. I think a few years back, we got a massive windstorm in, and it lifted the caravan and herself up and dropped her down the side of a fucking canyon. I'll tell you what, that poor girl, man, she had bad luck. I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe it was God's will. Who knows? I don't know. Hey, me, a media mogul. So, yeah, and on that note, like, there was a story I wanted to cover because there was some interesting developments weather-wise here in Ireland over the what's Mia saying? Storm Kieran, yeah, Storm Kieran. I, I didn't see any of it. Like I'm not actually that far away from the southern coast, right? I'm no distance from the southern coast here in Ireland, like maybe 150 kilometers or something like that. Never seen a bit of wind, right? Not one little bit. Like whatever the fuck is going on. There's something weird about Longford, where I come from, like, and we never get goddamn wind. Everywhere else in the country gets bloody hammered, but in Longford we never get any of it. Like, even when Stormophilia, you remember? No, you probably wouldn't have remembered Stormophilia in England that well. You probably heard about it, like that subtropical hurricane cyclone that came barraging through, like and fucking tore the fucking arse out of the bottom end of Ireland and the whole west coast of Ireland and even up the east coast. And we were in Longford, like, and it was just, what's happening? Where's this storm gone? We were hours into it, like, and there was still no sign of the storm to hit in Longford for whatever reason. I think this. I tell you what it is. I think the storms are afraid of the knackers in Longford. Right? It's like it's just the way it goes. Like this is geez, we leave those boys alone. We've heard that they're bad news, right? So we leave those boys alone. Shit, I shouldn't use terminology like that. I'll get myself booted off the interzones again, right? How you doing, Steve, mate? Good to see you, bro. Just a quick go back. No, there's I'm not missing too much. So we've got Steve in the house as well too, and Dinny. Dinny is in the Bowel Dinny. The Bowel Dinny car is in. the Prophet of Doom. It's like that's my new name for Dinny anyway. And he really is. He's a bundle of joy most of the time. Well, I have to give him a little bit of credit here. He is a bundle of joy. But yeah. But regarding a certain, there was a certain story. I'll have to go back into my history to find it a little bit here. Wherever. Yeah. This is the one I wanted to take a quick look at because you'll probably get a bit of a laugh out of this one. And I certainly got a laugh out when I seen it. Like, have I forgotten how? I've only been away a week and I've forgotten how the software works. It's like, oh shit, Jim. After 1 week, it's obviously Alzheimer's is setting in. Like, so this is the latest from the journal, right? Don't worry about the journal. It's a rag. It's basically a rag anyway. But they came out with a headline a couple of weeks ago. There have been too many yellow warnings. Met Aaron says it will issue fewer yellow warnings, right? So the Met Aaron, Met Aaron said today that it will be issuing fewer yellow weather warnings in response to what it called is warning fatigue, right? Let me just zoom in a bit there so you can actually read along with me as well. Assuming I can still remember how to fucking zoom in as well. That's not working very fucking well. No, the zoom in isn't actually working. Oh, I bet you it's because of that. Bloody pop-ups, man. Bet you something got to do with that. Yeah, bloody pop-ups, man. The internet is really annoying me these days in more ways than one, like, um, so Matt Aaron reckons everybody is suffering from warning fatigue, right? And it says, no, hold on, no. The general public doesn't give a fuck about your warnings, It's like, there's nothing new happening with the weather as far as I can see, nothing new. Maybe a little bit extra precipitation, maybe. Maybe the seasons are a little bit out of alignment or something like that, but I wouldn't call it warning fatigue, because we're constantly on alert for weather here in this Ireland. We're all sort of like amateur weathermen and weather women over here, So look, we do our own weather service because, in general, I got a sense of this during the week as well too. I was having a chat with a lady over where I work, just down the road from me here, and she was saying. I don't listen to the weather, It's just I couldn't be. They never get it right, anyways. Says you're dead right. Do your own, do your own weather service, you're much better off, And so what else were they saying here? The change of approach was announced today by Met Aaron's new head of forecasting, Owen Sherlock, at the launch of the government's annual Be Winter Ready information campaign. Holy crap. Oh, yeah, right. Let's be ready. Okay. Let's be ready for the weather. Right. Okay. So what the fuck is new then? I'll tell you what, he's got a good name too, Sherlock. What a fucking mind. What a mind. Sherlock, who was taken over from Evelyn Cusack, another. I, she's a reptile, a bloody reptile from RTE. I kind of remember her ugly mug, being on television for years. So, but as I say, I don't watch television, but I do remember back to the age of the dinosaurs when Evelyn Cusack was on. So, thank fuck she's gone. That's all I'll say. Following her retirement in June, said that Met Aaron is cognizant of the fact that there have been too many yellow warnings. Right? No shit. In terms of warnings, I've heard the term warning fatigue from our perspectives. We issue warnings based on thresholds. He explained that Met Aaron has looked into the thresholds for warnings and said that with yellow warnings, the organization will be increasing the threshold for wind speed. Right. What the fuck does that mean? You're going to increase the threshold for wind speed. Okay, well, look, it doesn't matter what you do because nobody's fucking listening to you. That's the word I'm getting on the street, Mr. Sherlock. Perhaps for low temperatures, they won't be as prevalent as they are now, he said. Perhaps for low temperatures. Okay, so we're going to get a different color of red now. Hopefully they'll change the color of the temperature charts as well too. Maybe just I don't know. Maybe yellow for danger and orange for safe. I don't know. Do something creative, anything at all is better than this. At least we could be on a rotating one, different colors for different years. While they're busy making people really confused about the weather, what better than to change the colors every fucking year, man? That would really screw people's heads up, So, and then he goes into the painters and the decorators, and yeah, good God, yeah. Look, painters and decorators know exactly what they're doing. They know when to paint, when not fucking paint, and when conditions aren't great, they actually take precautions. I know quite a few painters and stuff like that. So, it's not like the fucking painters and decorators give a fuck about what the weathermen are saying, or even take them seriously. They do their own. But I'm the same. I'm the very fucking same. But that's enough. That's enough of that fucking bullshit now, right? That's enough of that bullshit because there's only so much of that tripe I can listen to. It's, But I just thought it was kind of interesting to see that came up on my radar there a couple of weeks ago. It's just good God. welcome to clown fucking world, you know. But I even do this in my own job. It's like, you know, I don't listen to the weather, right? What I do is I get up the radar. I, I've learned how to read the weather charts over the years. So like I grab the radars, I grab the long range information. I log into some specific sites where I can get sort of like where I know I'm safe, like where good sites which are generally fairly accurate, like you know, and try to do the long range. So I've got sites where I can check out 7 days, so I can plan my week. You know, it's like when you're like me and you're doing horticulture and stuff like that. I'm too old for working in bloody rain and shit like that. You know, I don't want to be out in the elements. Like I want to be at home in front of a fire when it's raining or when it's really really cold, and I want to be out working when the days are good. You know, that's the way I roll. You know, that's the way I roll. So it helps. Like so. At the on a Sunday or a Monday, I'll have my whole week planned out. I'll know what days I'm going to work and not what days I'm definitely not going to be working. You know, so and I'm not going to be dependent on some guy called Sherlock from Met Aaron to give me advice on what he thinks might or might not be coming. Like, because I don't even think did did I'm going to put a question to you in the chat. Did that storm Kieran actually cause a lot of damage, or was it just a big normal storm? Because I didn't even follow it. I didn't even follow it. Um, I I did early during the week, early last week or earlier in the week. I was having a quick look at it, like, and I was looking at the trajectory of the storm, and it looked like it was kind of missing Ireland for the most part, and even kind of like just crashing into the Cornwall a little bit and heading down the English Channel. So I'm not even sure if it was as bad as what they were promising it to be. Like I know they were promising like the end of the world type stuff, like you know the apocalypse was going to arrive or something like with Storm Kieran. So I'm not even sure if that happened. How are you doing, Paula? Did I miss anybody in the chat? And did I miss anything down? No, I'm not missing a whole lot in the chat. That's good. That's good. Everybody's just chatting with each other. That's the way it should be. So Robert is coughing up the last crap from his chest. Like, you know, good man, good man. Good to see you on the mend. Mascara is saying if you can see the mountains, it's going to rain. And if you can't see the mountains, it's raining. Yo, that's how you do the weather. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Like the weather is very, very simple, you know. And it's hard to avoid the rain completely, like you know. And I've even found with my job, like even though like it might be good for most of the day, you guaranteed that if you don't leave prepared, you're going to get wet, right? So I always have good wet gear with me all the time. I never go anywhere without wet gear, like especially going away from home, because the last thing you want to be is wet. And sometimes you can get really wet inside rain gear too. It's kind of weird but it depends on the wet gear as well too. Like you know, it does depend on the wet gear. Like you need good breathable wet gear and stuff like that. So because if you don't have good breathable wet gear, you'll sweat more on the inside. You'll still come home wet. Like you know, it's just one of those things. How are you doing, Paula? Girl, I haven't seen you in here for a good while actually. So hopefully, like I did notice in the chat there that you were on the mend anyway during the week there. So obviously you mustn't be too far off. You mustn't be too far off being back to yourself again. How are you doing, Mick H? Mick was saying there's more rain today. Yeah, there was a bit of rain today. I was actually out in it a couple of times. I had to go out twice today on a bit of a journey, and thanks to my wet gear, I didn't get wet. I got a bit sweaty, but I didn't get wet. But it's those little wettings, I suppose, that can cause the flus and the colds, and you know the changes in temperatures and stuff like that. The last thing you want is that cold water getting on your skin. Whatever about getting sort of like sweaty wet in wet gear. Like at least if you get sweaty wet, it's not cold. It's not cold wet. It's warm, but it's still very uncomfortable. Like you know, and I try to avoid the wet gear if possible, but like you know, it's okay as long as it's only for a short while. You know, I've found like. And James is in the house. How you doing, James? Oh, shit, who else did I miss? Okay, James was saying that it only hit the Channel Islands. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that it was going to sort of like skirt right across the coast there, just in between France and England. That's how it looked to me. Like we did get a small little bit of wind here, but it's like it was nothing. Like it was hardly worth talking about. Um, so the Channel Islands got a whacking. That's okay. Good for them. Good for them. Paul was saying a few trees down. Right. Okay. So it did hit Cornwall a little bit. Okay, that's interesting. So that would appear to be our little weather update done, right? uh, so I'm kind of like I'm in great form now this week because since I started living here, right, in this place, the shithole, I've always had a coal and wood fire, right? So I've always had a wood and coal burner, right? And that's all changed now this week. That's all changed now this week, and hopefully forever. I started burning. I started burning diesel, right? I started burning diesel, and it's amazing, man. It's an amazing piece of kit. Like I'll see if I can see if I can get a couple of images of the burner I'm using. Oh God, there's an auto parts store as well too. Hcalorie.com. Let's go and see if they got a couple of images to show you. Yeah, started using one of these diesel heaters here, but it's not these ones, right? These are all pre-made. These ones here are pre-made. Um, but the one I got, you actually had to sort of like piece it together yourself. It all had to be, you had to do take care of the fuel lines and to wire the exhausts up and stuff like that. But they're from a company called H Calorie. They're little Chinese. I think they're a little Chinese diesel heater, like you know. I'll tell you what, they're seriously good. They are really fucking good, man. All you need to figure out is how to basically get a little bit of the. All you have to do is to figure out how to get the exhaust outside, and sometimes you might actually need to. I'm just after noticing that the web page is just slightly off, and I'll try to fix that a little bit. So, but I have to say, like, I wasn't sure what to expect of them, right? I really wasn't sure what to expect of them. Like, I didn't know whether there was going to be fuel. Oh, shit, it was there. It was there. The one I've got was there just a second ago. Let's see if I'll. Come on, H. Connery. Images. This is the one that I got, right? They're really designed for mobile homes, caravans, cars. But I've seen people are using these in England like to heat their whole houses, right? I have a friend down the road, just a couple of miles away from me. He is heating his whole goddamn house with this thing, and the one heater is keeping his house at 21, 22 degrees C constantly, like, and it uses nothing. Like it's a real miser on fuel. Like there's no smell, there's no fumes. The only thing about them is that that ideally you should be running them on a battery, right? You should really use them on a battery because there's a startup cycle and a shutdown cycle, and you really need to be careful that you just don't shut them down straight away because like if you're trying to run them off of mains or something like that, like with a power converter, you might run into an issue where if the power went out, for example, that like that you might burn the machine out because the fan has to keep running for a certain amount of time just to burn off any excess heat after you shut it down, and you might run into problems like with the heater. So that's why it's essential to use a battery with them, like So, but I have to say, like even on the battery, like uh, I have it running on a trickle charger, a constant trickle charger mode. So they're a really nice piece of kit, I have to say. And if you're out there and you're wondering how the fuck you're going to heat your home and stuff like that, and the heat's really fucking cheap, this is what you should be looking at. This is something that you should be looking at. One of these, like on its lowest setting, like it'll be using 0.1 liters an hour, you know. So you get nearly a whole day out of a liter of diesel, and you see loads of people burning all sorts of shit in them, like and like they're burning cooking oil and old engine oil and stuff like that. Like, but you wouldn't really want to be doing that, like because you want to be using a nice clean form of fuel. That otherwise you might end up having to be opening the heater up quite a lot to clean out the little bits and pieces like the glow plug and the inside the burn chambers and stuff like that. But so anyway, that's what I've been using now this last week now, and I'm delighted with it now. It's actually great. It's been a great addition into my life, and the fun thing is no more ashes, no more fucking messing around with ashes and filthy fires, man. It's been the bane of my life for years. Like when you use like ordinary burners, and when you're using wood stoves, well, at least with wood stoves you can fuck the ash out onto the garden, like But if you're using coal, it's like, oh shit, what do you do with this shit, man? And there's so fucking much of it, right? So much of it is sometimes it's really really hard to know what to fucking do with it all. But there you go. That's a really useful tip for anybody who is looking for an interesting way to heat their homes and just on the cheap, on the real cheap. Of course, there is a little bit of a setup. Like there are a few expenses. Like like the heater itself, I think cost what was it? I think I bought it for €113, and you'll need a battery, and of course you'll need a trickle charger as well too, and that's about it, really. That's about it, really. And just become imaginative and figure out how you're going to get the exhaust outside your home, and then you're good to go. And then and then you can start looking at different ways of networking the outflow pipes around your home and stuff like that to get heat to all the different areas. But like, highly recommend them. I really do highly recommend them. Who's in the house? Got Pete is in the house. How are you doing, Pete? I'll just have to I'll just have to go back a little bit. I'll let the chat go away. Go away a bit from here. Spanish is saying a tree got blown down, got blown and killed a Tesla. Where did that happen, Spanish? It doesn't matter. Well, I think like Elon Musk killed Tesla, right? That criminal crook, he killed Tesla, right? It's like Tesla's in the dirt anyway. Tesla's going down. It's never going to be feasible. Another one of Elon Musk's Ponzi schemes. So, but yeah, that is very, very ironic. That. Oh yeah. So I think that now I'll scroll back down a little bit and see if I can get currents before I get any complaints. Paul is saying my in flew away, gone forever, and a fence panel, and still nothing to be worried about. Right. So I just I'm trying to figure out my in flew away, gone forever. My in. I'll have to stew on that, and the fence panel I get, and But what's the in? You're in your tavern, your pub. I don't know. Holy crap, Jim! Shut up. You'll be in trouble. So I think I'm up to date. I'm current. So I've just been do you know what? I haven't been doing much news. I haven't been doing any fucking. I'm newsed out. just Pete and Cookie done a great job on this. Was it 2 weeks ago? The dead babies thing that they done. They done the dead babies, and do you know what? Dead fucking right, man. I am so sick of these fucking cunts, man. They spend. I don't know how many channels I follow on Telegram, right? I follow a shit pile of channels, right? And I I was getting good data and stuff like that for a while from them, like until I got fed up hearing about Ukraine, and now they've sort of reinvented, and now we're getting fucking minute by minute blows of dead goddamn babies on Telegram, and people blown to bits, and warnings of graphic imagery, and some of these cunts, like they're posting it 24 fucking 7. I said, for fuck's sake, man, what is your goddamn fucking problem, man? Is this what you're going to fucking subject yourself the rest of your goddamn life? It's fucking graphic imagery of bodies and blood and body parts, and holy fuck, man, what's wrong with people? Host update, third time asking. What is that, Rob? Host update, third time asking. Is that for me? Is that for me, Rob? I don't know. Rewind, Jim. Rewind. Maybe you missed something. Oh, co-host. No, Rob, I've been too busy. I've just been way too busy, and yeah, Rob, I got it, man. Yeah. I've been way too busy, brother. Way too busy. I have enough on my plate now, just at the moment, like with winter settling in, and still got to get my sound card sorted. But I still don't even understand what the fuck happened last week with when we done the group call with Cookie Pete and Steve and yourself and myself, and my mic was fucking working. What the fuck was that about, man? What the hell is going on with my setup? Or is it just Racoons? Is it Racoons that's been hacked by Unit 82.7, 8200? What the fuck is that all about? I don't know. But anyway, no, co-host will come in time, right? We'll just relax for now, right? I'm in no big rush. You'll get to know me after a while, Rob. I don't rush anything, right? You probably learned that by now. I still haven't got a new sound card yet. So this is me. I just very tranquilo, lad. I'm never in a rush to do anything, go anywhere, do this, do that. Everybody else is busy, bustling, and busy. And I'm here looking at it all go, what the fuck is wrong with these people, right? What's the hurry? What's the goddamn fucking hurry? Timothy is saying he's the co-host. You're the co-host of what, Timothy? It's Timothy, I want to know what you're the co-host of now. Please, be honest now. Be honest. You were the main host at one stage on one of the channels, and that didn't last very fucking long. But anyway, back to the news. Oh, good God, right there. There's a bit of humor going on in the chat. I'll stay out of that. Racoons doesn't have a co-host, Tim. It's I still have to propose to my first choice in who's going to be co-host, and I just I always have difficulty taking the knee, just it's a tough decision to make whether to take on a co-host or not. It's a big responsibility, right? Because it's kind of like it's like getting married to a woman, it's like, holy shit, right? Is this going to be forever? Are we going to have prenups? Is there going to be exit clauses? Going to be all sorts of legal agreements and stuff, and oh, good God, it's a nightmare. But when it happens, right? When it happens, it happens, and I'm not in any major rush at the moment because I'm just chugging along here, just doing my fucking thing, man. Not getting too excited about anything, and trying to not let the fucking world get me down as well at the same time, like with fucking imagery of dead babies and fucking dead women and fucking mad Arabs going jumping up and down the flags and shit like that, man. Right. I'll tell you I was listening to who was it I was listening to just before we went live there, the speech by the leader of Hezbollah, right? What was this? Hassan Nasrallah, right? Hassan Nasrallah was his name. And I was just thinking, am I listening to Hitler here? Right? I could have swore I was listening to goddamn Hitler. And that's the God. I'll actually might try and play you a little bit of it if I can get my audio set up in the background. Like the only thing that was missing was the Nazi salutes, you know. But I might just try to get up a little bit of it. Give you a listen if you didn't hear him. If you didn't hear his speech during the week, like it was being raved about. It was being raved about by a load of shit pile of fucking people. It's been an amazing speech, and I was listening to him today, look, and I was just thinking, you just sound like a fucking genocidal maniac, right? Here he is, like he's coming on, he's going on about the martyrs this, the martyrs that, like, and bless you, you should feel honored, like, you know, for all the dead babies in Gaza should feel honored to be martyrs now, you know? What the fuck planet was this goddamn cunt on? I don't know. But I'll try to play a little bit of it for you, just so you get the vibe of what I was listening to, right? Yeah, James, he's threatening war, like, you know, but he's full of shit, man. He's fucking full of shit, man. Hezbollah are going to do fucking nothing, man. Cowardly bunch of cunts, man. They don't give a fuck about Arabs, man. They don't give a fuck about the people in Palestine, really. But that's just the take I get on them, like, you know. But I'm not even going to pick a certain area, but just listen to him. Just listen to this cunt, right? And I'll have to go screen share, won't I? Yeah, I'll have to do a screenshot.
To rhetorics, statements of condemnation, then the Israeli enemy will deploy all its force towards Gaza. Now I have very exact figures of the total number of Israeli personnel psychologically and socially, and this will be a pressuring factor. A third issue, which is of no less importance, that the operations on the Lebanese borderline from their ministers
Here he goes. He's going to huff and puff now. Here we go.
The entire support provided by the US and West to wage a war on Lebanon. I assure you, to the enemy, we say, if you think to assault Lebanon or take a preemptive strike against Lebanon, it will be the biggest act of foolness in the history of your existence.
Right, that's enough of that cunt. I swear to Jesus. I couldn't believe it. I was listening to there earlier on today and I was just thinking, you know what? You sound not too unlike a fella with a funny mustache that I seen from way back in the 40s. Who was going around with making maniacal fucking speeches like that. Like, it was just nuts. I couldn't believe what I was listening to. Like, and he spent a whole hour and a half going, just, you know, all this fucking shit, man. Like, he gives a fuck about Palestinian people? No, they don't. Don't give a fuck about them, right? Probably hate them. No, Spanish. That's not that you look. As long as you're anti-Muslim around on YouTube, you'll be fine. How are you doing, Bright 77? But you know, as long as you don't fucking start supporting Russia or supporting Iran or anyone like that, you should be fine. You know, and take the piss out of the Muslims, like, you should be grand, you know. That's I don't know. Try not to overthink it. Robert is saying, just shag him the once, Jim, and try it out. Oh God, really? Do I have to? Oh no, do I have to? Good God. Yeah, we probably will. No, I'll definitely be getting him in as guest, as an esteemed guest first, right? As an esteemed guest coming in. And John Smith, how you doing, bro? Oh, hopefully I didn't misgender you there. You sound like a bro. So anyway, so I don't know what's been going on in Gaza or Israel for that matter, except that there's a lot of dead fucking babies, a lot of blood, a lot of bombs falling. I did hear that Israel had sort of split the country in two, and there are battles going on in the streets there. There are battles going on in the streets at the moment. I was picking up on some imagery of Hamas taking out Israeli tanks and personnel and stuff like that. Like, you know, but as I said, like, do you know what? I've been following war now for about a year and a half, and I think I deserve a little break from it, you know. It's like, and I'm going to take it's going to be a welcome break. I'm taking a welcome break. I even had a bit of time for some conspiracy theories there during the week. So it's like, I don't know whether he's been following the flight MH70. Was it MH70 came back on the radar again there during the week, right? I have a little bit of a video that I do want to play, and to give you a sense, like, I don't know what to make of it. Like, but it sounds very, very conspiratorial, right? So just give me a moment to roll my cigarette here. But it was interesting to see flight MH70 back on the radar, and actually, yeah, the video I'm going to show you does have flight MH70 on fucking radar, right? Apparently, allegedly, like, if you can believe this fucker. That's sort of like coming out and doing the whistleblowing, like, but he seems like fairly credible. He seemed fairly credible. It's about it's going to take a few minutes just to get through it, like, you know. So you're going to have to tune into it for a little bit and do a little bit of watching, right? And to give you a welcome break from my voice, but let's see now. The title on the video is quite cool, actually. The title on the video is very, very cool. It says,
"Talk to you for hours."
UFO swarm airplane MH370 and suck it into a wormhole, right? That's the title on the video, right? And so I'm not sure how long this is going to play for. This could be a 5 to 10 minute listen for you. I should be able to get away with playing it. I should be able to. I didn't notice any protected attributes on the video description or anything like that. So I'm just going to assume it's safe to play this, right? And I'm not putting this out here as say like I believe it or not, but I found it very, very compelling, right? Found it very, very compelling. I might do. Hold on. Do you know what I might do? I'll put the chat on pause. I'll come back to the chat in a few minutes, and take it from there.
Hours about consciousness, but people would be like, Wax, come on, man, show us the footage. So can we look at the footage and can you break this?
Yeah, do you want to let me share screen and I'll pull it up? Oh, you think you just did. Let me pull it up right here.
Thank you.
I've got it ready to go. So let me just confirm you can see. Yeah, I think you can. Okay, so I'll maximize this for us. This is the 3D stereoscopic footage. So this is the first one that came out from Regicide Anon. And if I just minimize this real quick and you look down here, you can see the dates. Uploaded May 19th, 2014. Receive date, March.
Just hold on a second. I want to make sure that my settings are I want to make sure that I've got the right one on. I'm going to do a screenshot because I want to go full screen. I actually want to go full screen with this.
March 12th, 2014. This is 4 days after the event. We can glean a lot of information about who leaked this potentially and how quickly they leaked this from this. Source, protected. So this person has other videos. Their other sources don't say protected on them. It probably took them weeks to be convinced that what they were even looking at is real because they didn't have a basis in 2014.
But we still don't know whose footage this is.
So we know it's the government's for sure. We've identified the spy satellite that was in the right location as the USA 229 at the exact right time, which has a sister satellite next to it that could take this side by side that we see here. Because this is actually two different angles aiming down. This isn't a duplicated video left and right here. And we've proven that as well. So potentially the leaker knew, also because these coordinates in the bottom left indicate the Nicobar Islands. They knew that they were delivering absolute proof to us, but that they probably didn't realize the media wouldn't pick up on it and potentially might be controlled, or that we just would not have the collective conscience to realize this video is real. When people first looked at it, they thought they were looking up in this video. They didn't even realize we were looking down from outer space. The background here is 6 frames per second. That's why you see this stutter effect. So this is really just images that are being overlaid on top of each other to create a video, which is what video is. This mouse you see coming in the screen here, this mouse is at 24 frames per second. Debunkers actually proved the videos to be real for us. They thought that this would somehow indicate the videos are fake, but this means it's actually a Citrix session that the person logged into the real spy satellite database. And then what we're seeing here is a very cropped version of a very wide field of view. These satellites, if you look at the SBIRS videos, they are scanning the Earth all the time to create essentially what is like a Google Earth video playback. And that's what we're seeing right here. So when we knew that this was a Citrix session logged in, this automatically debunks or rebunks any prosaic debunk attempts where people try to say something doesn't look right, because we've already just proven the authenticity of these videos. The leaker didn't just probably only wanted to leak this video. Weeks later, they ended up leaking the second video. So we can see this smoke trail coming clearly from the back of the plane. These are cumulus clouds that we're seeing here. These cumulus clouds only form at low altitudes. These are not contrails conclusively. So this is smoke coming from the back of the plane, consistent with the lithium-ion battery fire scenario that we have indicated. There's a witness somewhere nearby here who had seen this plane just minutes before, glowing orange, consistent with the bromine from the halon gas permeating throughout the plane. She also saw a very dark smoke coming from the back of the plane. She also saw the plane descending, which we've proven that that's what's happening here. This plane is descending and making a circle turn. It's attempting a landing. We even found an intercepted communication, only reported in Chinese news, that claims to be from MH370, saying that it was disintegrating and attempting an emergency landing. So we have 3 sources of corroboration for these videos. I would argue that we have more evidence these videos are real than any court case in human history. Now, you can see this first orb is coming in at around Mach 3 speeds. It's moving 10 times faster than the plane. It's ignoring gravity. It appears to be showing superconductive properties. It starts to rotate around the plane, but not right away. And then it gets around the plane. The second orb, as you maybe just missed out, I'll go show it again. This second orb is going to shoot up through the water here, across the water, and then come up through this cloud that we see down here. So you watch very closely, you can see it right there, and it shoots up through the cloud, and then it's now going around it. Now the third orb gets into place, and then they get into a locked formation, and then they switch orientations, and they start rotating around a different way. Now they're encircling the entire plane here at this point. And they're encircling in a sphere, like they're tracking it, they're measuring it, or something like that. And then they change orientations to be vertically aligned. And you'll see that happen once it gets to this cloud right here. So they encircle it, they're following the center of mass, and now they're going around it from a vertical perspective. You see that? It's like they're preparing it for what's about to happen right here, and then zap. And so what we think is happening. Yeah, we think that they're somehow able to induce some type of very energetic event, potentially through the use of superconductivity. The leaker moves the video over to the right. We can see that the smoke stops dead in its tracks right here. It doesn't continue forward, indicating this is not cloaking of any sort. It's not annihilation, because this zap that we see, due to the amount of mass in this plane, the mass has to go somewhere. The mass and energy does. So if this plane was being annihilated, like a nuclear bomb going off, this would be a much, much bigger energetic event than this event we see here. The reason why we see this flash actually accurately illuminates the clouds. We think this not only proves it's nighttime, but we also think that this essentially proves that the videos are real, and that what's happening is this event is energizing the electrons around the zap. So this is very unusual, and this is why it's very hard for people to understand and believe. But this is part of the reason why I think that what we're looking at here is reverse engineered technology. Is that this plane is doomed, and this technology was deployed to save the plane that would otherwise have been destroyed if it had crashed into the water.
They literally saved those people. We were thinking they got taken out, but what if they got what if they got sick? I'm thinking of who is John Galt? Mm-hmm. Atlas Shrugged, right?
Yeah, and so the thing there is it doesn't make sense to destroy the plane. The plane's already doomed, right? So if you want to destroy the plane, you just let it crash at that point. All those people are going to die, and the plane's going to crash into the Nicobar Islands there. So really the only reason to do that is to make it stop. And those, again, the lithium-ion battery fires, those things are not going to put themselves out. What if that event we see is able to put out the lithium-ion battery fire and save this plane from that perspective? To me, that's the most logical conclusion. And let's look at it from the other angle. So a few weeks later, so if we look at just real quick, we look at the information on this one. Again, regicide anon again. Published June 12th, received June 5th. This is just 3 weeks after the first video. So presumably, and this drone was cropped out of the first video. We can tell that it's pretty much just cropped out of the screen based on the fact that we can see the smoke trail right there and where it is in position. So they leaked this one because we didn't believe the first one. We had absolute proof from the first one. We could identify the satellite, what have you. This one starts to show us what the technology looks like. Normally, these electro-IR cameras are going to be black and white, but they've colorized it, which also indicates the person that leaked this was an operator, somebody who had information about how these systems work, somebody that probably had an emotional reaction like we would have looking at it and realized nobody's going to be able to prove this without this information. So in this drone footage video here, I want you to look at the orbs themselves. We can see that they're using some sort of electromagnetic engine to create geodesics. In other words, their own gravity. And you can see that from these black trails. These trails are not coming behind the orbs. They're actually in front of the orbs. If you look very closely, you can see that. They're like running along train tracks. And they're creating their own geodesics while ignoring the force of gravity of the Earth, which is showing superconductivity properties. The person who's filming this clearly knows something's going to happen here. They're zooming in on it to get the best intelligence they can, and they zoom out right before the zap happens. They also show us this heat signature that's going on underneath the plane, which is either heat from the air conditioning being vented out. We're still digging into that. But one thing I want to point out is right before the end here, you can see these heat signatures on the orbs that is spinning as well, which we think is related to the superconductors spinning that can somehow create these geodesics. Okay. At the last moment, you can see them converge on the plane. If you saw that, I think there's a slow-mo. They converge on the plane, which I think is somehow amplifying their capabilities, which then allows it to zap out, and then it's gone. Now the leaker zooms out here, show there's no plane. That's it. And this wouldn't be the leaker at this point. This would have been the live footage and what the live footage looked like and a pre-recorded. Now, again, you can see, if you look closely on some of these, you can see they zoom in on the orbs, and this is not part of the original video. This is part of, so what somebody did here on this. You can see what those orbs look like very clearly. They get accurately distorted when they go through the back of the plane as well. And you can see the trails. I think it shows another version here in a second.
Like pinwheels almost.
Yeah, there you can see the lines in front of them, right? The black lines in front of them, and they're just following those lines. I also think that it's possible that these lines they're creating are changing the atmosphere to a degree where you can potentially see what we would call contrails in the sky. You can see the lines in front of them right here and where they're tracking as well on this. And I have another version that makes it even more apparent with that. And here's the super slow-mo where you can see actually it looks like gravitational lensing, where these orbs are being bent. The light from them is being bent as they approach in on the plane at the last second right here where you can see. And even at the last second, we have a version of this that we created that is decolorized. You can actually see there's like almost a cold shell around the plane in the very last moment as well, which I'll be happy to share if you want to take a look at that real quick.
Please, absolutely. This is
Let's look at the dark trails first. Let me switch over.
I mean, this is next level right here. Do you think it was a defense contractor that did it? They're like, oh, we could use them. Let's go save them.
I don't think there's another third party involved just because it adds more complexity to it. It really just seems like it's the U.S. military. But of course, the contractors would have been the ones to develop this technology. I won't name them because I don't want to be disappeared anytime soon, but you can kind of take your guesses. They're the people that everybody would have expected pretty much. This is where you can very clearly see the trails in front of them with this version, right? So if you look closely here, every time, if I pause it like here, you can see these trails are coming from the front of the orbs here, and they're following the path of these trails. This is probably my favorite version of the footage that's out there. That, again, we've created this version of it to better see this information on there. So that's really big. One of the other ones I want to show real quick is, let's see, the Passover. So let's look at this Passover detail. And are you seeing the Passover at this point? Yeah, you are. So you can see these are the satellites. This is the recreation. This is the actual trajectory. It's been independently confirmed by 2 different people that this is the real trajectory. You can see the time at the top. So now we're approaching 1840. And this is the part here where this orb, we actually think these satellites can see much wider than this, probably several thousand kilometers in radius or in diameter. And so the plane is probably somewhere right here between these islands down here. And so this is the data that's being sent out from the satellites back to the Sibber system to create that 3D stereoscopic effect from these 2 satellites orbiting next to each other. So that part's also really big. And just because some people might not necessarily believe the Sibber system, I like to show the Sibber system information as well, which this is to me the smoking gun on how this works. I mean, just watch how these satellites are operating. Look at that. Look at how they're scanning the Earth. And some of these satellites are scanning from different orbits. These ones that are far away are what they call geostationary satellites. The ones that are close are going to be your millennial orbit ones, which are going to be your command satellites. And then you're going to have these low Earth orbit ones like USA 229 that are going to be scanning from a very close range as well. And so what this is doing is taking information, allowing them to build a full battlefield map in 3D, which is very good for targeting and battlefield awareness purposes. I never thought we would be able to know this much information about how these satellites work, but all of this is just publicly available knowledge. And once you piece it together, you're like, okay, so the government's just scanning the Earth all the time and has perfect video playback of everything that there's going on. I mean, that's probably what's really happening here. So that one's really interesting.
Yeah. Thanks for showing this, because as much as we've heard about satellites, most people have no idea how they're worked. So to see this, it puts it into perspective. And that,
so here's what happened with this plane too. This is Chris from the Not So Deep podcast created this animation. So this plane's taking off from Kuala Lumpur. This is where it gets to 17:20:21 UTC. Right after the pilot says, "Good night, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370." This is where our lithium-ion battery fire begins. This is where we have our first explosive event. You have Mike McKay, who sees it from
real quick. Quick question. Sorry. Do you think that was a natural current event, or do you think that it was sabotage? The lithium.
There's still mystery here in terms of how it started. If it just naturally occurred, if there's something more going on, and it would be very difficult to figure that out exactly. But looking at these lithium-ion battery fires and how these were packaged, which we did a piece on, they don't seem very safe at all. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if this was a naturally occurring event. So probably what happened. Yeah. But real quick,
if there's 19 people on that plane that are that important, and as you said, it shouldn't be that way, there's clearly something. And then, so for them to allow that many people on the plane and to allow lithium-ion batteries on the plane, that seems kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, again, this was before we kind of knew about the situation. If you look, there was an article or a picture I put from the FAA. If you go look and Google lithium-ion batteries FAA, these incidents are happening once a week, even now, even after they've banned them from cargo bays in 2015. Before that, we didn't know very much about how dangerous these were. I mean, we did, but the public didn't really know. So in this situation at this time, they wouldn't have been fully aware of this extreme dangers. These batteries were not screened twice, and they were put together the same day they were put on the plane. So they also
Black Ops crews couldn't have came up with something like that, like, assassin crew or something?
I mean, I can't really speculate too much on that front, but again, like I said, there's a lot of mystery in terms of how this event happened here. Okay. So whatever happened here, Mike McKay sees this plane on fire from when the incident first occurs, and he did not see it crash. If you look at his actual witness statement, he just saw a fire. And at that point, this plane is going to turn around. And according to the Wired article, which actually argued that this might be a fire scenario based on the flight path here, they even argued that the first thing the pilot would do would turn off the bus so that they could identify which circuitry might be disabled from the fire, which might indicate why the plane went dark at this point. Now, this plane turns around, and it goes directly to Penang Langkawi International Airport. This is the correct location that during an emergency event, the closest airport, safest airport that they could go to. Again, this is like 1:20 in the morning. By the time it gets here, it's almost 2 in the morning. Now, at the same point here, all of these people along the coast, there's like 9 different witnesses that hear a loud bang at 17:20, which is consistent with the lithium-ion battery explosion. The plane flies for about 10 minutes till it's about right here. There's fishermen aloft on the coast here, like 8 of them in a boat. They see the plane flying so low, it seemed extremely unusual, under 10,000 feet. The reason for that would be if this plane was depressurized from this explosion, you got to get enough oxygen for these people to be able to breathe. The masks are only going to last for 15 to 25 minutes of oxygen. So you have to fly under 10,000 feet in order to allow them to breathe. Now it gets to Penang, and this is where the cell phone of the co-pilot pings the station, indicating again some type of distress situation. People have argued that the plane can land on its belly. The thing's full of fuel and potentially on fire. So I don't think it's a very safe event for them to try to land without landing gear, or if the landing gear was damaged, which I think we have to kind of assume because they didn't try to land at this point. Because you got to get this plane on the ground as soon as possible. Now, I've had sources come to me and tell me that the plane can last while on fire as long as it's being contained for enough time for it to get over here where we see it in our videos. I also had confirmation that this witness over here that we're going to get to, KT, she sees this plane glowing orange. That's consistent with this gas permeating throughout the plane. I've also got independent confirmation that that's what would happen as well. So this plane reaches here. At this point, I'm imagining that they did communicate with the U.S. government, that they created a rendezvous point, and that these communications have been classified. And I want to dig into that soon and figure out what communications we can find that were linked to this, because I have a feeling that we will be able to dig up and find some communications in addition to the distress signal that we've already uncovered. Now, the official narrative says that this plane lost contact in 1822. If you go look back, even right now, at all the official reports from the next day, the real time that they say they lost contact, 1840 UTC, consistent with our satellite, consistent with the witness told me of her sighting as well. Everything lines up. We have 3 different independent corroborations of 1840 UTC. They waited weeks to release this radar data, presumably because they had to develop a cover story for what would have happened. Same with the Inmarsat pings. They waited really long to release it when there's no reason to do that. If you're an honest person, you're releasing that information the next day, making it public so that people can figure out the mystery, right? So it gets over here to this point. Our witness is on a boat. She's going to Phuket. She sees the glowing orange plane consistent with the direction of travel. They've rebuilt it based on her automatic GPS signals to figure out the general relative direction of it, and it's circling around counterclockwise just like this. Now she goes inside the boat at the wrong moment to go put the kettle on, and presumably misses the plane disappearing and the orbs, which we can see only show up for about less than a minute. And she comes back out. There's no more plane anymore. I've talked to her personally and corroborated her story after it's already been out there on the internet for 9 years. And she tells me she comes out and all she sees is a glowing orange halo with no plane anymore. And she stares at it for a while after she comes back out. So all of this is 100% consistent with the scenario that we have been building, which is an emergency event from the fire, from lithium-ion batteries, where this plane is doomed. And the only scenario at this point is to save the plane is to deploy this technology, which either presumably puts this out or puts the plane in range of somewhere where it can safely land. So pretty incredible.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there because what I will do, I'll copy and paste that link. If you want to see the whole lot and listen to him, what's his name? He is Ashton Forbes. Ashton Forbes is his name. Co-whistleblower, I don't know. Top secret US government clearance. Part of his job as a contractor. The job has nothing got to do with advanced technology. I'm only stating this to establish my credibility. I'm not bound by an NDA. This is not a hoax, disinformation, or misinformation. You don't need to believe me because everything is verifiable. But anyway, there you go. If you're interested, if you want to have a listen to that, right? I found this very, very fascinating. It was very, very fascinating to see that come out there during the week. So, Flight MH70 is back in the news cycle again, back on the conspiracy boards, right? So, as a little bit of a welcome break, from all the bloody doom and gloom of babies who've been sort of cut to pieces with bombs and shit like that. So hold on, I'll just have to try and catch up with the chat a little bit. Spanish is saying Jimmy left Uni on for fuck's sake. Come on, Spanish, would you give me a break, man? Give me a break. Jesus Christ. I'm sure you do. Look, we'll get Uni on. We'll get Uni on in a little while, all right? If that'll make you fucking happy. As long as fucking Spanish is happy, I'm happy, right? That's the main fucking thing. Denny is saying it's going to be USA versus Iran. War is money. It's going to be Christians against Muslims, I think, Denny. I think this is the way this is going. It's in the Bible, so it must be true. So I don't know what you thought about that. What did you think about that piece of a clip there? I thought that was really fascinating. Like, I don't know whether the imagery is true or not, but at the end of the day, kind of like fairly compelling data, because, it's a site we're still talking about fucking MH fucking 370, it's quite amazing. Like, it's still got no resolution on it, and there was loads of speculation at the time that it was sort of like disappeared with odd technology, and of course nobody fucking believed that at the fucking time. But if that turns out to be real data, because I am sort of like convinced that at some point in the not too distant future, we are going to be learning about a shit pile of new technology that they've been working on, that have been there in the background and just waiting for the right moment to bring it out. Like this big Green New Deal bullshit and all that, like this move to solar and wind, it's not going to work. It's not going to power a civilization like ours. We need better power sources and something that's less polluting. So I'm thinking that there's going to be new technology coming out, like what happened in Lahaina. Like, I've seen some amazing footage again today of Lahaina. So weird shit was going on there, like about how cars were burning and wood wasn't, right? Cars were actually melting and wood wasn't. I've seen some crazy footage today about Lahaina, because like the folk from Lahaina are actually getting back into their hometown, back into to see their homes again and stuff like that now, just at the moment. So getting some weird footage out there, like whatever the fuck happened there, like very, very odd. It was very, very odd what happened in Lahaina. And it was very, very odd. Lahaina was very, very odd because I don't know if you remember, like in the weeks leading up, about 2 months prior to the Lahaina fire, in around that vicinity, there were images taken, actual video taken of some type of laser activity over the islands in around that vicinity. It was coming from one of the observatories in the area, and there was clear footage of the of the laser activity that was going on around the island. So what the fuck's going on in Lahaina as well too? So now we've got MH370 back on the radar. We've got Lahaina. It's like it's all hinting at fucking some serious tech is about to be revealed. That's what I'm thinking. Denny saying it looks like spunk stains. Well, I don't know. I usually watch this fucking. Well, no, I don't. I don't fucking spunk stains. Jesus Christ, Denny, you do hang around in some fucking weird brothels, man. Oh, there's some weird chat going on in the chat. I'm not sure what's going on in the chat. Surely Jimmy doesn't believe this, says Nick GB. I'm very, very wary about everything, Nick. You know, very, very wary about everything that I see, hear, read. Um, I just thought for a change tonight, it just might just take it out of the usual course of the news cycle. You know, have a look at some other stuff that's going on, which is a little bit less gory than fucking endless footage of war and fucking blown up babies and fucking cunts like fucking saber rattling, like, you know, because that seems to be the general trend and flow of the news cycle these days. So I just thought it would be interesting for a break just to have a little look at it. Like, but do I believe that technology exists? I do believe that this technology exists. I'm 100% convinced the technology. I don't know how far on they are. I have no idea whether they're capable of zapping an airplane out of midair. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. We don't know how far ahead they are. You know, we have no. The only thing that we know for sure is that they could be anywhere from 50 to 100 years ahead of where the current technology is, like, you know, in development, like, you know, because, and usually that's usually military stuff, like, you know, so I'm kind of fascinated to see, because I am expecting to see a release of information about new technology at some stage, you know. So Rob is off for his beauty sleep. Good night, Rob. Peter's saying that's mostly the shit on the UFO crowd. Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Does anybody believe in UFOs, really? It's like, you know, it's our tech, you know. There's no fucking aliens, man. So, well, it is our tech. That's what I believe. If they do exist, it's here, and it's been here for a very, very long time. John is saying, if the satellite was so good, why did it take so long to find bin Laden? They knew exactly where that cunt was. They knew exactly where he was. In fact, he's probably still alive, you know, for all we know. Good man, John. This fit is crap, but it's still better than Jimmy's patter. Good man. Appreciate that. Needed that. Oh, yeah, that's where I chucked the link in for anybody who wanted to see it. John Smith is saying Kuala Lumpur War Crime Commission found Bush and Blair guilty of war crimes. Months later, 2 Malaysian planes go down, and both of their transponders failed. What's the chances? Well, in this world, man, you know, I don't think there's no coincidences. I don't believe there's any such thing as a coincidence, you know, or a quinkydink. So I'm way. Oh, I've caught up. So anyway, also there was another conspiracy. There was another conspiracy brewing in the background, right? This last 3 months about an alleged sinking of a Chinese sub. I don't know if you've heard of it. Like, you know, I've been refraining from talking about it because, like, it's been impossible to verify anything up until was today or in the last week or so. I think we're actually starting to get some verification of what exactly happened to the goddamn Chinese sub. And after this, if Uni wants to come in, I'll put out the link to him there. I'm going to get them on just to keep Spanish happy, right? But I have another short video to play and to give you a timeline, because it'll explain it a hell of a lot better than I could, right? It'll explain it a hell of a lot better, and you'll understand exactly what the fuck happened with this Chinese sub. The sub captain was called Wee Too Low. Oh, good God. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's brilliant Spanish. But yeah, this word about this sub sinking started breaking. I think it was in around August. I think it was August. Like we started getting word about this sub sinking. Like, and it was coming. Like it was being reported, kind of like in a few Western media sources. Like, and I wasn't sure, like, because it was very, very hard to get confirmation on it. And then about a month ago, we started to get a few more confirmations that it might have happened. Like, but now we actually have some details of how it actually fucking happened, right? And I'm gonna let these guys fucking explain it a hell of a lot better than I could, because they take it through all the bloody gory details. It's about 12 to 14 minutes long, right? So bear with me while I get this little bit of a short video up for you. Yeah, here we go. Don't want it to play straight away.
On October 23.
Okay. Right. So we're there. Slow internet. I'll probably go full screen for this one again too, so I won't be able just to follow the chat just for the moment. But I'm sure you'll keep yourselves busy taking the mickey out of me. But this is like, I think we're sort of like veering away from the conspiracy deal right now, and we're kind of like we're getting into stuff that is kind of tangible and is kind of real, rather than orbs spinning around, sort of like dodgy satellite photos taken from space and stuff like that, which of course we all know space, there's no such thing as space, man, you know, and that nobody's ever got anything up there. It's all just balloons up there, right? So you know, we all know that's a load of bullshit, right? Isn't that right? Isn't that right? So, but at least we can deal with the tangible, which is down here at terra firma, or even below the ocean. Maybe we might believe that a bit quicker, right? So this is a good site that I found, right? This is an excellent site that I've just found. China Insights. I used to be big into the I used to be big into ADV TV until I learned recently what the fuck those pair of little arseholes were all about, man. And I swear to God, I am so sick of what I've seen. I'm so sick of what I've fucking seen from those pair of fucking arseholes lately. I might get into it at some stage. Not tonight, anyway. Not tonight, because we don't want any of that. Not tonight, anyway, of all fucking nights. But have a listen to this now, and this will sort of explain exactly what happened to the sub that went down in the South China Sea in last August, I believe it was, last August. And it's just taken this long to actually find some data on it and get some sort of like a bit of verification about what the fuck happened to it.
We aired a story about the sinking of the Chinese nuclear-powered submarine Type 93, number 417, the Long March 15. Now, more details are emerging, including the fact that one person may have survived. In this episode, we'll update the story, and in the second half of the episode, we'll look at an incident that has infuriated the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP. That is, Taiwan has built its own submarine. Let's start with the sinking of the nuclear submarine in the Yellow Sea. In early October, the Daily Mail and the Times broke the exclusive story that the submarine had gone down because it was caught in an underwater trap used by the CCP in an attempt to target submarines from other countries. A lack of oxygen resulted in the deaths of 55 submarine personnel, including 22 officers, 7 cadets, 9 petty officers, 17 sailors, and the captain of the submarine. Here is a photo taken by a Taiwanese military fan in late August. It shows an aerial picture of a large number of tugboats on a search and rescue mission in the waters southwest of Taiwan, off Shantou City in China. However, at that time, the Taiwan Atomic Energy Association stated that if a nuclear submarine sank, it would be accompanied by a nuclear leak. However, so far, Taiwan's 63 environmental radiation monitoring stations haven't detected abnormal radiation values, and the radiation in the sea is within the normal range. These statements have confused the outside world. What has really happened? On October 19, 2023, the news broke on X, formerly Twitter, that there was one survivor while the others had died of hydrogen sulfide poisoning, and the post included Xi Jinping's initial reaction upon hearing about the sinking of the nuclear submarine. The X account named Luo Xiang uploaded a video a few days ago explaining the incident in detail. It claimed that at 8:30 a.m. on August 21, 2023, the Type 93 nuclear-powered submarine with the number 417 was stranded by a marked anchor chain during its mission in the Yellow Sea, which ultimately led to the incident.
21日清晨8点30分
At 8:30 in the morning on August 21, on the Yellow Sea, there lay the beginning of the tragedy. The Type 93 nuclear-powered submarine numbered 417 had previously traveled a winding and complicated route from Qingdao through many waters and finally arrived at this peaceful sea. While performing an unknown mission, it was accidentally trapped by an anchor chain. The anchor chain was an invention of the CCP military. It means driving many metal piles on the seabed and connecting them with metal chains hundreds of meters long. Over time, the chains become covered with water plants. The CCP calls them their kelp, which is used especially to target American nuclear submarines. But this time, unexpectedly, the CCP's own nuclear submarine was caught. When the submarine became trapped, the captain decided to take emergency action. A diver carried 4 tanks of gas on his back, one of which was compressed air for breathing, and the other 3 tanks containing hydrogen, oxygen, and natural gas for underwater cutting. The mission seemed to be successfully completed. However, when the sergeant-level diver knocked on the hatch to return to the submarine, there was no response from inside the submarine. At a critical moment in his life, the diver violated strict submarine regulations and chose to surface. There happened to be 2 frigates nearby at a distance of 1,400 meters, which were on observation duty in the prescribed sea area as ordered. They immediately rescued the diver. After the rescue, the frigate tried to contact the submarine, but there was still no response. In an emergency, they asked for help from Lianyungang Airport, but due to bad weather, a helicopter couldn't take off to carry out the rescue operation. After the weather improved a little bit, a helicopter with a high-power air pump flew to the incident area. Accompanied by the frigates and frogmen's rescue dive, the air pump and the submarine pipeline were successfully connected to the submarine in trouble and made it more buoyant. However, due to possible foreign matter stuck at the submarine's shaftless pump propulsion system, the submarine's ability to float was affected, and it floated up very slowly during the rescue process. By the time the submarine was opened up, the crew inside had already lost signs of life. For 6 hours, from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., U.S. military satellites were high in the sky, silently watching the sea area. There is reason to believe they may have intercepted communications related to this incident. The CCP was aware of the U.S. military surveillance through its satellite monitoring system because both sides have the ability to detect each other's satellites. Reportedly, the sole surviving diver has attempted suicide or self-mutilation multiple times and is currently under strict surveillance. The contents of the black box have been decrypted and converted into digital signals that can be analyzed, but the relevant analysis report will take some time. The current intelligence all came from the report provided by the diver. After the autopsy, the forensic doctor pointed out that all the crew on board were poisoned by hydrogen sulfide. After investigation, it was found that the submarine wasn't equipped with such a detection device that the hydrogen sulfide wasn't detected, and no alarm was issued. So how does hydrogen sulfide enter the air circulation system? Preliminary inference is that potential operational errors might have misconnected the natural gas and oxygen pipelines, causing toxic gas leaks. The lack of detection devices prevented all personnel from knowing that the danger was coming until the situation became serious. The 93417 submarine incident has many other incredible details. For example, the diving cord carried by the diver wasn't the one he normally uses. The ratio of cutting gas carried wasn't consistent with the norm, and according to rules, there should have been two divers working together, one guarding on the side and the other doing the cutting. Why was there only one diver out of the submarine at the time? What sort of interference did the sub encounter? Was the submarine's communication intercepted by other forces? Was there a spy or infighting inside the submarine? All these questions need to be answered by decrypting the black box. Leaks from other military sources also point out that Xi Jinping received the news while he was still in the air on his way to the BRICS summit in South Africa. His first words were to keep it highly confidential and wait for his return to deal with it. But a few hours later, the confidential information about the 93417 nuclear submarine was revealed on the overseas social media, much to Xi's extreme displeasure. The X account didn't.
Okay, there we go. I think we're finally starting to get a little bit of closure on what happened with that submarine. I haven't mentioned it before. I haven't mentioned it up till now because, do you know what? I didn't even know if it was an actual event or whether it was just propaganda. It's so hard to know these days with all the bullshit. Like it's hard enough. Like even with conspiracy theories, right? Even with conspiracy theories and stuff like that, like it's like you never know what those fuckers either. Like, but even with real events now, it's gone so fucking crazy that you can't even trust what you're reading about real events sometimes. So, you know, I first heard about that like back in August, like, but very, very hard to get any, you know, you were just left in a state that, is this real or is it not? Like, you know, my first instinct was, yeah, it must have happened, like, you know, but the poor fuckers, man, getting caught in their own trap, right? They had a trap set for the Americans and they fucking got snared in it. What a way to fucking go. And if it's true that the reason they died from hydrogen sulfide was because of misconnection, misconnecting something into the into the airflow system. Oh man, holy shit! I mean, that video is very, very good. That's a great channel, by the way. That's a brilliant channel, by the way, and well worth following. If you're a follower of ADV and all that fucking lot, I'd advise you fucking watch those fucking cunts, man. What I've learned about them now lately is fucking horrible, man. Horrible pair of cunts, man. Horrible pair of cunts. I swear, I used to enjoy their shows. Like, used to enjoy their shows years ago when they were doing the bike runs around China. Like, but I've seen some horrible stuff from them lately. Like, and I'll never be able to watch them again. How you doing, Jerry? Jimmy and Denny watched all the dirty wee rats. Well, is that true? Is that true? I'd imagine like sunken World War II ships like would have been fairly well corroded At this stage, if you were underwater for that long, it'd be fairly well corroded. I'm not sure the metal would be very usable at this stage, but you know, wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me either. But anyway. Fuck off. Gotta leave that one up now. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I did. I forgot about that one. It's hard to think of everything, you know. It's very, very hard to think of everything Spanish. All right. We'll get rid of that comment. Sir Penza channel is good to see what's going down in China. I'll tell you what. I generally I can't go into it. I can't go into it at the moment. Because what I've learned about those two little fuckers, man, is enough to turn your stomach, man. I used to love them. When they were doing those bike runs around China. It was great to get that information from inside the China firewall and stuff like that. Like, you know, but I've seen some questionable stuff from them very, very lately, and I think I'll be unsubscribing from their channel. Put it that way, because I'll get into it at a different stage. I'm not going to go into it tonight, you know. So. Yeah. Well, you know, you can't misconnect hoses. But I don't know. Yeah, that could be speculation, Spanish. I don't know. But one thing's for sure: a fucking sub got caught in its own trap. This was the story back in August. They got caught in their own trap, and they should have been able to get the fuck out of it. They should have been able to. So something fucking happened, right? Something happened, and if it was hydrogen sulfide, right? Okay. He did say it was just like could have been a misconnection, and who knows? I don't know. No, we won't know. They're waiting on the decryption of the black box data, right? Waiting on that data first, and we will probably never be privy to that information, because like what the black box data might show up, like might sort of like indicate incompetence. So like I'd imagine this is about as much as we're really going to learn about it, you know. I'd say like this is about as much information as we're going to get, like, and I think we should sort of like count our lucky stars that we were able to confirm that it fucking did happen at least, you know. So I've been wondering about that sub for months. Like, is that real or what? You know, it was just so uncertain, and it just went off my radar until this week. So I got lucky, and I just think I think the mystery is sort of solved. The most important thing to note is that the sub did get caught in its own trap, and that was pretty much the story from the start. Like, so unfortunate for anybody who has to die under the fucking depths like that. Jeez, what a fucking death, man, you know. It's a tough station down under the water, like really, really tough. I don't think it would suit me. I am a bit claustrophobic, like, and most people wouldn't cut it to be underwater, you know. Any poor fucker that would sort of survive that, like, you got to feel for the poor fucker that got to the surface, like, you know. So at least there was one survivor anyway. Oh, Jerry, don't worry about it, you know. Sleep it out. What time zone are you in, Jerry? By the way, just out of curiosity, like, you know, slept it out. Did you sleep all day, or is it just morning time where you are? I don't know. So anyway, as promised, we'll get Uni in. And see what he's up to, what he's been up to. Hopefully he doesn't come in with more tales and sagas about fucking Pokemon and all that fucking malarkey. And oh shit, I forgot. There might be an echo. There might be an echo. There you go, Uni. There you go. And if there's an echo, well, we'll see. We'll deal with it when we get there. So. So what else has been going on in this goddamn world, right? Yeah, I've been noticing also these just the topic of the falling fertility rates is really coming up an awful lot lately. I was just reading yet another article on the topic there over the last couple of days. Basically, from an MP in England, I believe, and so fertility rates. And this is like from grip.ie, and they're a fucking rag as well too. So it just I don't follow them like intently, like, but you know they're a bunch of cunts at the same time, like. But still, you get the odd article that is of interest. So. The headline here is falling fertility rates across the West threaten future existence of our society, warns MP. So this particular MP says, unless falling fertility rates across the West are reversed, we're heading for a future of certain economic stagnation or destabilizing mass immigration, or both, which is according to Tory MP Miriam Cates, who warned of the existential threat posed by demographic decline during a UK conference where she appeared alongside psychologist Jordan Peterson. What the fuck's she doing with Jordan Peterson? But anyway, look, I suppose it's all one big, nice, happy family, really, at the end of the day. Ms. Cates was among a series of high-profile speakers at the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship conference in London on Monday. And she's quoted here saying, our decline has not been brought about by military defeat or economic collapse or natural disaster, the Conservative MP said, continuing. Rather, it has come from within, from the fraying of our social fabric, the network of associations that holds together our families, our neighbourhoods, and our nations. The politician, who was a mother of three, told the gathering that the surest sign of Western decline can be found in the evidence of demographic change. So, another quote here from her: by definition, a successful civilization is one that endures, but the fall in fertility rates across the West threatens the future existence of our society, she said, adding, if bringing a child into the world is a sign of hope then for the future, then in the West, that hope is in short supply, she said. So unless fertility rates decline is reversed, we are heading for a future of certain economic stagnation or destabilizing mass immigration, or both. And this is exactly what we're seeing, right? This is exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing the or both, right? It's definitely the or both, you know. We're seeing this mass influx of migrants, and I think the general idea in the political circles is that, like, with mass migration, that we may be able to offset this this demographic decline, like, you know. But I think from my bits of studies into it, like, of what's been happening in Germany, is that, like, it's having the opposite effect. Like, despite them bringing all these millions of migrants in, like, what's happening is there's just mostly only males arriving, young males who are not bringing their families. So it's not actually going to solve the problem for them. Like, I think the general idea was that they'd bring their families and all like that. Like, but this is not exactly what's happening. So this Miss Cates, she is a former science teacher, and she spoke of a spiral of decline, telling attendees that warnings about the future to alert us to decline were not needed, adding, we can feel the social fabric fraying around us at every level of society, families, neighborhoods, the nation, our social covenant, the shared understanding of identity and responsibility is under strain. So anyway, look, yeah, she's gone into a big blah about it, like, you know, but clearly, like I'm seeing this, like I'm seeing this conversation happen more and more and more over the last weeks. It's like it's like this is the big factor. This is the thing which is causing all our freaking problems, right? Basically, and it's twofold. It is actually twofold. Part of it is kind of like our own fault. Part of it is our own fault, really, because like we have wanted to be living in, we wanted to live in the industrialized world. We wanted to live the dream. We wanted to live the life, and to, but like what's happened was like people stopped having the children. People stopped breeding because for various reasons, like life became too complicated. People just couldn't afford children anymore. They were too time consuming. Like, and what we're seeing more and more is it's like you've got two-parent households, like both working, trying to pay off mortgages and keep up with the bills, and then having to chuck the children into daycare, which is also another expense, which is part of that demographic erosion. And then there's the other side of it as well too, which is the falling fertility rates as well too, which is another big, huge issue. And from what I understand, the fertility rates have dropped by about 50%. I might try to grab up some data on that, like for next week maybe. But like a fertility rate decline 50% is a big deal. Like very, very big deal. So, but the interesting thing to note is that this conversation is starting to be had right now, and it's not just happening in. It's not just happening in Italy, where it's been in effect for a long time. It's not just happening in Japan, where they've been getting ready for their demographic decline since the 1990s, and still not found a way to figure out how to fix the problem. They're still nowhere close, even though they started way back then. They seen it coming down. So we are now going to have to be dealing with this problem ourselves as well too, and maybe have to follow the Japanese model, like so. But this demographic issue is going to become more and more on, and if we're going to be looking at what's going to cause the great economic collapse, it's not going to be the failing dollar, it's going to be the population decline. That's just my 2 cents worth. And how are you doing, Uni? Because welcome to the show.
Doing all right. How's everyone doing here?
Oh, good. Is there an echo?
I think there was for a second. I don't hear it now. Do you still hear it?
I've turned your volume down a little bit because I think I might have had my volume up a little bit too high for the speakers. But so you were coming in strong there. So no more echo, hopefully.
All right. Well, that's good. Don't want no echoes. Those are not fun to deal with. Oh, boy.
How has your life been, Uni? It's been a long time.
Just not really much has changed. Pretty much the same old. My thing. Once in a while I'll do research. Most of the time I don't. I just chill. Just get by. Sometimes I'll play games with my little brother. Sometimes I'll just watch a TV show.
You have a little brother.
Yeah, I thought you already knew that.
No, I didn't know that. For fuck's sake, how old is he?
22. No, 23, my bad. 23.
That's it. Okay, right. So he's not so little then.
No. But no. Yeah, he's still my little brother, so kind of like a parents when they have a kid that's like 40 years old, it's still their kid.
Oh, that's true. Look, my mom is 80 and I'm still a baby.
Now, compared to her, yeah, you are a baby compared to her. Oh man, but the temperature around here has been kind of decent. Had a bunch of rain and the last few days or so, but the temperature right now is good. It's nice and sunny outside. Leaves are starting to fall everywhere, and it's looking nice. The creeks are starting to look like starting to sound like rivers, which is nice. It's a nice contrast to how they are in the summer, where there's barely anything there.
Right. Yeah. Of course, you're in Washington. You're up in the far reaches and the northwest, isn't it? Northwest.
Yes, I'm on the top left corner.
And I would have imagined it would have got very, very cold there in winter times.
Depends on your definition of cold. For me, it usually does. Like at worst, it usually gets around, let's say, like freezing temperature at in the winter. Like on some days, other days it'll be like around maybe 40 Fahrenheit, so like 10 above zero. I'm talking about Fahrenheit, not Celsius. But yeah, it's usually what the temperature is around here during the around here. We call our states the evergreen state. So we have a lot of trees and stuff. But around here, we also get a lot of fluctuating weather. Like 1 second it can be raining, and like 5 minutes later it'll be all like sunny outside.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be too far probably away from the Rocky Mountains, would you?
I don't believe so. No.
No, well then you'd sort of like be living in mountainous weather, like, which is very much like that. You know, you never know quite what to get when you're in the mountains or close to them. Like,
yeah, that weather just keeps on randomly changing. Not to mention, speaking of which, I'm not sure. Have you ever heard of Mount Rainier?
I have, yeah. That's the Mount Rainier was that was a volcano, wasn't it? That blew its top there about maybe 20 years ago, was it?
You're thinking of Mount St. Helens, which is nearby. It's nearby.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a different one. Mount
Rainier.
St. Helens. That was in 1980. That was in early 1980 that erupted.
Right.
Mount Rainier is the other one that's near Seattle, and because we have like two big volcanoes / mountains over here, and scientists are allegedly, at least, are talking about that it could erupt at any time. That it's supposed to erupt like once every 400 years or so, and then it's overdue. So
I know, but look, what's that big super volcano down in the Midwest? God, what's it called? That's about to blow any fucking minute now as well too.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, yeah, they've been going on about that shit for donkey's fucking years too. Right, okay. I'll set me alarm, but I won't be expecting too fucking much,
Yeah,
these scientists. These scientists, right? They always have to be fucking talking about some shite. Says, right, let's get the fucking people fearful and let's let's make it look like we're doing something. How you doing, Matthew Caddy out there? How you doing, bro? Uni, have you ever seen any Sasquatch? John is asking.
Nope.
No.
Nope, haven't seen Bigfoot either. So he might be down there. He might be down there in Cornwall, or in Birmingham or something.
Well,
actually, no. You know what for fucking Bigfoot is? He's in Denny's forest right now. He's chilling there, and Denny's hiding him from us.
Denny turns into a fucking Sasquatch every full moon. Did you not know that?
Yeah, of course he does. That's why he's always getting drunk and high, because he's preparing for that day.
Yeah, I've been trying to get drunk and high for years, and I still haven't turned into a fucking Sasquatch.
That's because you're from a different part of Ireland.
Yeah. Well, they are curious. They are curious specimens up in Donegal. That's for sure.
Exactly. Oh
so
man.
Come here. What are you researching these days, anyway? Or should I be afraid to ask?
Well, I've been refining some of my, or maybe not refining, but revising my my thoughts on certain conspiratorial topics, and just certain topics in general. Like, for example, I know you might found this fucking like crazy to believe, but I've actually started to rethink the whole conspiracy about the JFK assassination. As I know you probably don't give two fucks about that, but it's just something that just yesterday I started to reconsider some things after seeing a really good presentation made by a historian that's really does know what he's talking about. Does a lot of work into the subject, and That's just one thing. And the thing is that I feel like that a lot of these people in the alternative media, if you disagree with their worldview, you'll get attacked and called a shill. Like, say, I'm sure you know about that. Like, if you're one of those people who says that planes did hit that actually did hit the Twin Towers or the Pentagon, you'll get called a shill. And they like, oh my God, you believe the government story and all that shit. And it's the thing for
well, I do believe planes hit the towers. I don't believe a couple of fucking coke snorting fucking Arabs from Germany were able to fucking fly it. But I do believe that it's probably highly likely that they were sort of guided in under the assistance of the automated system, like that would have been computerized. That would be possible. Like, I don't believe a pilot could do it, like, but I believe a computer could.
Well, that's the thing. I've been talking to I've sometimes I talk to some of the people I know, like on Skype and such, who are really big 9/11 researchers, and we've been talking about that. We talked about a lot of the issues. I've done a whole presentation on 9/11 a couple of years ago. I might do another one if I feel like it. But we talked about a lot of things. We talk about the no planes theory. We talk about directed energy weapons. We talk about the remote control. We talked about CGI, holograms. We talked about freaking missiles, all that stuff. And we pretty much
rabbit holes. Yeah.
Yeah, we pretty much covered all of that stuff. We talked about the official story too, of course. And we pretty much came to the conclusion that there's a lot of BS told on both sides of the aisle, especially around. I would say that a lot of the BS that came from the conspiratorial movement started around the time Loose Change came out. That's when it really started off, because that's when a lot of the because like back in the early days of post 9/11, there's a lot of there was some really good docs that came out of people asking reasonable questions and saying reasonable things, like the one with the Jersey Girls, for example, who didn't think the 9/11 Commission solved the story. But then when Loose Change came out, then we started getting into a lot of the nut job stuff that came since, and then now we've gotten into freaking all of the weird shit that people start throwing around that has become really popular and ever since. Thankfully, it has been starting to die down because no one really cares about 9/11 anymore. But it is what it is.
What do you think? Are you expecting another major event to be happening in the USA very shortly? Because I've seen there during the week that there was an attempted attack on a nuclear facility. I can't remember where it was. Some sort of an odd name of a town there. Are you expected to see anything like that come out now to sort of perhaps draw America into a further conflict?
No, absolutely not. I do not see. I do not see America getting involved in any new conflicts more than we currently are. Outside of support and some token ground troops because of mostly idiots off of Reddit who want to be white knight warriors. Aside from that, no, I don't think we're going to be doing anything else. It's just going to be coming down to that, to what we have right now, and we might even be pulling back in some of what we currently have, especially considering how in the House at the moment and in the Senate and Congress, there's been a lot of mixed opinions about the Israel conflict going on at the moment, and there's been a lot of even in the mainstream media, you're starting to see it, and it's becoming interesting, and this supports the QAnon hypothesis that was broadcasted several years ago when they were talking about how Israel would be last on the hit list in terms of the whatever you want to call it.
Well, if anyone deserves it, they fucking do. I'm half expecting to see Israel and Israel get occupied by America at some stage. This is what I think might fucking happen, and force a peace. But I don't know. I have no evidence to support that apart from a few anecdotal sort of like media outlets sort of like suggesting the idea that this might be on the table, that like American troops, boots on the ground in Israel. And I think that would be a good thing. Personally, that's what I think should happen to those fuckers, man, because like they clearly have not got the ability to live in harmony with their neighbors, and they never will because of those ultra orthodox, crazy fucking Chabad Lubavitch cunts, man, who just
those kind of people.
Those fuckers, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to remember that these people have been kicked out of over 100 countries over the last couple thousand years, and it's not for no reason. It's like if you're a kid.
They were kicked out of Ireland. Yeah, they were.
They're kicked out of Britain. They were kicked out of pretty much everywhere that you can.
Everywhere, yeah.
Exactly. And in fact, and it's pretty much always for the same reasons too: debauchery, money, their money lending practices, like the Federal Reserve. It's always for the same reason, even when
that's what it was. That's what happened with the pogrom in Limerick here in Ireland with them, like money lending, like that.
Yeah, yeah, and there comes a point where you have to draw the line. And you have to say, what are we going to do with these people? I'm not one of those ultra like violent kind of people who say we just need to kill them all. Like, no, I'm not one of those kind of people. I feel like that we need to set some kind of like thing aside for them. They got to go somewhere. Unless you want to be one of those people that's like kill them all and let God sort them out. You got to find somewhere for them to be, and you have to forever make sure that the populations in the world learn not to integrate these people into their cultures, because anytime that happens, well, you've seen pretty much. I mean, you know the results.
Yeah, and yeah.
But as far as the
well, it was just unfortunate that like the Arabs who sort of like did welcome them in, like, and it didn't take long for the Arabs in that particular region to end up like getting kicked out of their homes and getting bullied.
Absolutely, that happens every time. It happens in every country. Like say in Britain.
Well, it never happened. Yeah, it does happen like that. Yeah, absolutely. Like the very same thing happened in Russia as well too. 1919, they came in and they totally destroyed the Russian people. The Russian people will never recover after that. Like it's a destroyed culture, basically destroyed. And they're still there. They're still embedded in Russia, like to this fucking day, man. And the likes of that cunt fucking Putin, like that Chabad little fucking. I swear to God, that fucking Putin. He's a wrong one, man. I fucking hate him. I nearly hate him as much as I hate fucking Trump. Going around with his little yoki on his head, rocking at the Wailing Wall, like Remember that image of him? Like, remember that video of him, like, where he was going over, touching the Wailing Wall and doing his Chabad shit, like, for his ultra orthodox friends.
Yeah. The whole But I will say though that Trump does certainly hate those people. He certainly hates them, especially Netanyahu. He definitely hates those people.
Well, if he hates them, it's only a recent thing. It's only since he lost the 2020 election. That's he's because like I think he thought he was in with Netanyahu, right? Remember, he presented Netanyahu with the keys of what was the key? He gave him a big key anyway at some presentation in New York, the key of the city or something like that, or something or other, like
as if Netanyahu is actually going to make use of that anyway. It's pretty much just a token gesture at that point. Just the same thing. It's the same thing as the Golden Heights thing, or the whole, Jerusalem, saying that's the capital of Israel. It's just like, Trump may have said those things, but at the end of the day, those were already things that were the case anyway. All he did was just offer it as a mouthpiece, essentially. That's about the
manifesto. The manifesto was written by what's his name? Not Marx, Lenin. Not Lenin.
No, it wasn't written by Lenin.
What was his name?
Karl Marx.
Was it Marx?
It might have been Marx. I don't remember.
No, it wasn't Marx. It wasn't Marx either. It definitely wasn't Marx. Can't remember at the moment. I'll tell you what.
I've heard a lot of different people that responsible for that one. The Communist Manifesto. I mean, you could pretty much call it the Capitalist Manifesto as well. I fucking hate capitalism so damn much. It's such a shit economic system.
Well, the manifesto of the Communist Party was written by Marx and Engels.
Yeah. That's the one. That's
Marx and Engels. I don't know what I was thinking about. Somebody else. Right.
Oh man, Sega's asking, Sega Saturn. Oh, that's a good ass video game console, bro. That's a good ass video game console, man.
Ben Emlyn Jones. I don't know. I might reach out to him. Sagata. I might try reach out to him at some stage. As I say, like I haven't thought too much about guests. Like after Jason died, I just noticed there in the chat, like somebody didn't. Hello to Donna as well too. There's a few people joined in. Sega hello, Donna hello, and somebody Bright didn't seem to realize Jason was dead. Like but since Jason died, Jason used to have all the contacts and all that sort of stuff. Like he had direct lines to all of these people, even Max Egan and stuff like that. So I haven't been thinking too much about sort of reaching out to anybody just yet. Just treading water here, just trying to keep the channel going, see where we go from here, and see whether see what happens. Like not trying to overthink it at the moment, but. Ben Emlyn Jones, yeah, it might be. He was. I was on. I was on that night with Ben Emlyn when he was on last with Jason. Probably one of the last shows that we'd done. Like apart from Bart Subrell, that where we had a live guest on. So
Ben Emlyn Jones. Is that the flat Earth guy, or is that the moon landing guy?
Yeah, he's into the. He's into the spooky woo-woo UFO, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was all right. An interesting chap.
Yeah, I was honestly just having a hard time remembering because after uploading so many videos onto the BitChute channel, I've just been kind of just losing track of who's who. There's so many different names that people like. Jason used to get on so many different people. Holy crap, he used to get on so many people. I mean, back then it was mostly Andy, but beyond Andy, it was it was Jason after that. After Andy sort of winded down. Yeah, but yeah, they got on a lot of people, like Guy Taylor, for example.
Oh yeah.
He was brought on several times. And several others. Obviously, Max Egan. The Max Egan videos are the ones that always get the most amount of views. Like that one, like the Max Egan interviews have gotten like several hundred views.
Yeah, but Max Egan used to rob the videos, put them on his own website, and he'd never sort of like attribute give credit to where the show had actually done, and he's still doing it to this day. I do keep an eye on the little bearded fucker, like, and see what he does be up to, like. So he's still at the same crack, and so whatever views that you see on the Max Egan show, it should be much, much higher because, like, but Max, of course, wouldn't allow his audience to go over to Racoons News, so he posted on his own channel, and that's it. You were going to get, you're kind of like in a little limited sort of like limited hangout.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, it doesn't surprise me. A lot of big content creators love to do that, which is unfortunate. Oh man, thankfully, anybody who I've personally interviewed, has not been like that. If they upload it onto their channel, it's with with me knowing that ahead of time. Like say Jim Rizzoli, for example. He has our interviews on his channel, but I already knew he was going to upload them there anyway, so I don't have a problem with it, obviously.
Do you know Jamie? Do you, Uni?
Sounds familiar.
Okay. So it's amazing. Some people are still only finding out about Jason. That's mad.
Well, yeah. I mean, some people come and go, and they'll come back and they'll see and they find stuff out that hasn't been known. Like they're probably I bet that there are probably some really old Raconteurs fans who might not even know that Andy and Webby left. You never know. It's probably not the case, but you never know. There could be someone that still doesn't know that. Oh man, and speaking of which, I wonder what happened to 80, because like with Jason gone, oh man, because he was the one really supporting 80, so I'm hoping that he's doing okay.
80's back on his fucking feet now. 80's driving and everything now, and I'm not sure he's totally back on his feet, like, but I'm pretty sure he's got plans to go down to Thailand again and check out some of the local wildlife there again. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for some reason I always get the at Thailand. I always get that name confused with Taiwan because they sound so damn similar. I get them mixed up. The same way that a lot of people get Washington and Washington D.C. mixed up.
Well, now you'd understand that, like you can understand that, like, but that's. But then again, if you're not familiar with the geography, you won't fucking know. And that's just it. So.
Yeah, that's true.
You know. But anyway, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw the after show link in. I'm going to call it quits now for tonight. We'll have to get you in earlier another evening, Uni, and have a longer chat. And
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I am a bit tired now tonight myself, basically, and I don't want to be going on too long here. So there's the after show link for anybody who wants to come in, have a natter, and not sure how long I'm staying, but then again, I say that every fucking goddamn week, you know.
Yes, you do.
I do. I'm still always the last one out for some strange fucking reason. Ginny, that cunt Denny keeps me up fucking all night.
Oh man, he keeps a lot of us up. By the way, though, before you end the show, would you mind putting a video in the live chat so people can check it out, just to see what they think? They probably won't click on it because, let's be honest, nobody clicks on anything. But it's just
go on. You should be able to put it in there yourself, anyway.
I can't. You have to have a spanner to post links.
Yeah, but not in StreamYard. But anyway, I'll put it in for you anyway. So
all right, yeah. Wait.
So this is the. I'll just put a message with that link from Uni. What is it about anyway?
Well, it's a JFK video.
Okay.
It's defending the official story of the Warren Commission of the Kennedy assassination, and I found it to be very intriguing because of the way that it tackled a lot of the theories and a lot of the alternative ideas about it. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but I found it to be very interesting nonetheless. It's a lot more than your typical fucking fringe mainstream garbage like, oh, conspiracy theory, far right, blah 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 blah.
Come here, is that a man or a woman I'm looking at here?
It's a man. I know it's hard to tell nowadays, but if that's not a man, then I don't know what the fuck that is.
No, I'm going to give that a watch later on. It'd be interesting to have something else to watch for a change.
In 2 parts, by the way, but the second part can just it's probably in the related video.
Okay, yeah, that's sound. So anyway, we're going to call it quits for tonight, folks. We will be back again next Saturday with some doom and fucking gloom. Hopefully I'll be able to get back on the doom and gloom wagon. I had to just give it a break this week and go into the depths of fucking conspiracies and stuff like that for a change anyway. So I hope it was a nice break from the normal. Yeah. Hopefully it was a nice break from the usual, like, so as I say, like, if everybody is a bit like me, you're just sick to the fucking teeth of all the bullshit on the internet, like, and just what I've done is I've just tuned out of most of it. Like, I used to just check through my Telegram, like, and just these days I just mark everything as read. I don't want to see enough of your fucking goddamn fucking bullshit. I'm half tempted to go back and start watching Alex goddamn Jones. So
please don't. For the love of God, please don't.
I know. And isn't it interesting that Owen Schroyer is in fucking prison at the moment in solitary? Thank fuck he's there. Like he should have got a fucking 100 years in prison for what he done on January 6th. But at the end of the day, like, you got like Proud Boys lads in there for getting 30-year sentences, and Owen Schroyer gets 6 fucking months. And he was inciting. He was actually inciting the takeover of the capital. It's just unreal. How he got away with that, I don't know. He's obviously got friends in high fucking places. But anyway, on that note, I will leave it there. Thanks for joining in. Cheers for your company tonight, and we will see you next Saturday night. Take care, everyone. Have a good week.